Hello, this is a short tutorial on how to back up photos from Lightroom up to Google Photos. Most of us take photos with our cell phone nowadays, so those photos are most of the time backed up to your chosen photo provider. Like on Android, I use Google Photos to do that. On iPhone, that I'm not exactly sure what that would be on iPhone, but I know that they have their own provider. And Amazon has, with their tablets, has their own backup as well. I think you can even get your phone photos to go to Amazon if you want to. But occasionally, we all take photos with point and shoots, or in my case, I have some DSLR photos, and we need to get those backed up. You take the card out of your DSLR, your point and shoot, you bring it onto your computer, whether that's a desktop or a laptop, and you download them onto your computer, and they reside on your hard disk, and they just sit there. If something were to happen, God forbid, whether your house burns down or your house is flooded like a lot of people are experiencing in Hurricane Florence right now on the East Coast, those photos are gone. So I've come up with what I thought was a kind of ingenious way to back up these photos that I take on other types of camera, my point and shoot and DSLR. A couple of notes before that. If you're a professional photographer, this might be something you want to do, but you're backing up JPEGs with this method. It does not back up raw images, your TIFFs or RAW or your DNGs or whatever they are. It doesn't back those up. So if those are important to you, this method will not work. This method backs up JPEGs, which in my opinion, if something were to happen to my house and I've got all these photos backed up to Google Photos, I'm glad for that. God forbid, I don't want anything to happen, but I would rather have something, a JPEG, than nothing at all. So that's where this comes from, is just having a backup that's free, because I don't make money taking pictures, and so I want some way to back these up to the cloud. This is a cloud type of backup. Just as another note, I don't believe right now there is a solution for professional photographers out there to back up to cloud that is easy and most of all cheap. Cheap is the wrong word to use, but one that doesn't break the bank. I've looked high and low for something, and I don't think that there is a sufficient method out there, in my opinion. But anyhow, here's my method. So I have downloaded the Google Backup and Sync. I'm going to go into preferences here to show you what I've set up. I have set up a folder on one of my drives, which I'll show you here in a second. I've chosen a folder, and that folder is called Google Photos. Inside of that folder, we'll switch over to that now, it's on my F drive, and I have Google Photos, and I have my years. I organize my photos by years, and I'll show you what exactly this stuff means. But in this case, I have photos from 2014, so that's what I'm doing. So I created a 2014 folder, and I am publishing, if you will, to this folder, and the Google Sync and Backup tool monitors this folder, and when it finds those, it pushes those up to the Google Cloud. Now I'm not going to be able to show you the photos we're going to use immediately, because I think Google does some extra processing once those are uploaded onto Google. We'll see down here that they're synced and stuff, but when we go into my Google Photos account, they won't be there. I think they're in an intermediary process. We'll see these ones most likely, these 20 photos that are here. The other part that you got to set up, we'll click OK here. The other part you got to set up on your Lightroom. I'm on version 5. I'm assuming this is similar for latter versions, 6 and the cloud product that Adobe has. So I set up a publish service on hard drive. We'll edit these settings. You can call this description anything you want to. I, for some reason, always use this year, despite the fact that you see down here that I have this export location. So that's one thing that you want to do, is you want to set up your export location. And I do mine by year. It just allows me to organize and keep track of what I've backed up and what I haven't backed up. Once you've done that, you can go through here and choose how you want to do, you know, your files and stuff like that. I include video. I have a few videos. This is the one thing that I do change all the time. It defaults to either 60 or 80 quality. I'm assuming that's a percent. I always crank that up to 100 just because I want the best quality. At this point, I click save. Since I've already done this, I don't have that option. And then what we do is there's a couple of idiosyncrasies about Lightroom. So you select your photos. I've got 8 of them selected here. Now, one thing with Lightroom, if you select this border near the 49, 50, 51 and drag that down to here to this 2014, it's not going to work. You have to click on the photo itself and drag it so you see this stacked image, and you put it here, and you'll see that we now have 28 photos versus 20. Another thing that you have to do here is you have to say publish now. So we're going to say publish now. We're going to open up our folder. We're going to go over here to our Google Photos 2014, and you can see that these images are coming in here. So there's 28 items. We can see down here that Google is spinning, syncing 1 of 9. I don't know why it says 1 of 9 because I didn't do 9 photos, I did 8, but we'll assume that Google knows what they're talking about. And see it spinning here. And if we go to our Google Photos, open this, we should see photos added today. So these are some of those photos that I've added. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So there's a couple of them from that export that I did. One thing to note, if you just open your browser and go to photos.google.com, you may not see these images at the top there. The reason that is because the information, what's called IPTC information, is in here. Capture date, you'll see July 4th, 2014. Google catalogs those into that directory, and we can look at these photos and see that on July 4th, 2014. And it shows you what type of camera, etc., that I took this stuff with. So that's my method to back up these photos. I hope this is a help for somebody else. If this helped you or you like it, just hit the thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. Thanks.